Came through on your watch? Okay, cool. What's up, man? Happy Monday. Nice. So it looks like I fixed a lot of the things I was having trouble with last week. I think. Still not 100% sure. What a crazy few weeks it has been, and finally I'm coming up for air a little bit, and like the overhead of Insight is, the content portion at least, is behind me. That's all done. Now we just got to prep for like the community stuff and what we're going to do in Discord next week. Yeah, little stuff like that. Before I get too much further, added the CI? What is that? Okay. That background is really freaking you out. I'm so used to what was there. Going to get more sparse. Should get closer to the... What are you referring to? What background? Oh! You mean what you guys used to see? Right. You never actually got to see her head because it was always like above the camera, but yeah. I got it. So I've got some news. I wanted to give time for a few people to show up. There's some really good news that we got over the weekend that, I mean, I almost broke down into tears. I posted it in the supporters chat in Discord. Ooh, I like this lick. What song is this? I want to make sure I remember this one. Burial Chamber. It's a weird name. So originally when we hired the painters to come in and sort of overhaul the house, recolor the insides of the house, we originally started talking about painting cabinets. All right, let's paint the cabinets. And then we looked at the walls and they're like this slate blue color, and we're like, are we really going to paint the whole house? So, all right, well, let's at least entertain it and see what it would cost. And then we're like, well, if we're going to change the cabinets, we probably need to change the upstairs cabinets at the top of the stairs, and we also need to change the handrails, and it just kind of and then. What's up, Drew? It's good to see you, man. So it continued to just spiral into this massive job. And to sort of cut corners a little bit, I said, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do in the third floor yet for the studio layout. I might even paint different colors in different sets and segment it off in a different way. I've considered bringing a mural artist in and kind of, doing the walls up a certain way. I don't know. But let's not spend money painting that right now. We might even extend the floor to cover the stairwell and put a door up, right? I don't know. So why are we going to paint something we're just ultimately going to tear down? Why are we going to do it? We saw the first pictures and we're just blown away. And then yesterday, or this morning, I believe. No, it was yesterday. The painter they tore all the masking out, all the plastic out and everything, completely finished. It's completely done. And he did a full walkthrough of the whole downstairs, upstairs, cabinets, everything. It's a completely different house. All of the walls are now, Esther called it white dove. So it's like a creamier white than just like a typical eggshell white kind of thing. Looks amazing. And then we went with this kind of matte black onyx called Onyx for the handrails and like the stairs and all that kind of stuff. And that wasn't even the big news. Like the fact that they finished most of it in a couple of days is impressive. And then we get a random message on, I think, Saturday night. Ricky went ahead and just painted the third floor because there was extras and he felt like it was undone and didn't want to leave it that way. Don't worry about it. You mean he, like all the handrails and yeah, he did all of it. Congratulations, you have a customer for life and you will be getting every referral for paint going forward. And I told Esther, I was like, that is one of the smartest things you could do as a small business owner. Like, just it's gonna take you what, an hour, and you've just made a customer for life. Any paint that we do, and they fully warranty their work, and like if it ever chips or cracks or any of that stuff, like constantly. But the fact that he just went ahead and just did the third floor anyway because he didn't want to leave it undone. And he painted all the handrails at the top of the banister. It looks incredible. Like, I am blown the F away with how good it looks. And it's finally starting to feel real, like it's ours. So big developments over the weekend there. Very excited about that. I can't wait to get in there and start setting up. Talked to the electrician this morning, and very excited because he was able to isolate the floor plates in the third floor so that we can run each of them to their own 20 amp breakers. Right, so we can do power redundancy and crisscross to each of the cabinets, and right. So very excited there. Probably gonna start with one cabinet. But that gives me room for expansion in the future. I'll now have two completely separate circuits off of the main with 20 amp breakers to be able to crisscross PDUs across cabinets if I want to, which I want to. Right. Not saying I'm going to roll in there and stand up two cabinets right away, but it gives me the expansion capability in the future. And being able to hang the pigtail PDUs off of one of each circuit and have some power redundancy there, huge. What else can I share? What else has happened? Esther went away for a girls' weekend this weekend, so I finally got to... I don't know. I was working on NetApp content till about 1 a.m. Friday night for Insight. Last minute stuff. Got to get the last minute little pieces in. But you guys will get to see that on Wednesday. That was a lot of fun. It was fun to shoot that. It took more time to prepare for it than it did to actually shoot it, if that makes sense. Today we're gonna go shopping. We're still shopping because I have yet to convince myself of which of these systems I should get. Turn that down a little bit. I'm still in the mood to shop for... Esther went away, so you got to work. Yeah. It's amazing how much making videos requires dedicated time. Like, you have to be able to... You have to have like a 4-hour block with no interruptions. I turn my phone on D&D. I will put it on the other... I'll take it out of the room and throw it in the living room. Like, to be able to write creatively takes a lot of focus. And to be able to be in a headspace where you can play something out in your head, you can't have any social media up or messaging or any of that because you won't be able to stay with it. but the amount of like focus that I was able to have, the dogs had gone to bed, like everything. Like I was up here just by myself, just in my own thoughts. And when you look at like a video that I did back in May, the new NetApp, right? God, it seems like, how is that 6 months ago? It's insane to me that the year has gone by as fast as it has. Like I should already be starting to put together like my reflections on 2021 video that I want to have up at the beginning of the year. Like, how is it October? How like blink and it's gone. I don't know. It has just flown by. And it got away from me. How fast the year was going. The new NetApp video that I put up in May was 15 minutes in length. The very first edit of it was 22 minutes in length. And we covered a lot of ground in that video. And it was a lot of writing. Let me see if I can pull this up. Google Drive. Scripts. New NetApp. So I'm here. I'll show you guys this. And I was putting notes for him, for the editor in here. But I mean, if we just do, I don't know why all this was in there. Wait, where is the actual script? There it is. 3,000 words. So I had to write that first. That took a week to really figure out how I wanted to frame it, the conversation, because I wanted it to be a bigger piece. But that alone took weeks. And conceptualize, and at the same time, I'm having to make directorial notes for the editor so that when he comes in and starts piecing it together, he knows where to put things on screen and what to put in what order and all of that stuff, right? Like this alone took at least a week. And I mean, it's months of experience before you ever get to that, right? So just as an example, so having a dedicated period of time, and it's something I've been talking with my manager about. The more I get into this creative space, the more I get into this kind of stuff, and the more of this kind of content that I make, the less and less other stuff. What gets dropped into your teleprompter? Do you have any of the extras on there? No, because I come back in after the fact and add those. So I'll record myself doing the A roll, and then I'll come back in because I've got in my head, the problem is I can't have a telepathic link with the editor, right? So I have to come back in and like tell him where I want to put certain things. But I'll write this, get to a happy point with it. I'll do a couple of dry runs with myself and test the timing and see if something doesn't flow when you're actually reading it, if there's a tongue twister, any of that kind of stuff. Modify it, wordsmith it a little bit, and then I'll go up and record it. And then once I get a take that I'm really happy with, I'll come back in here and start assembling all of the, like, what B-roll assets do I need to throw in, and I'll assemble all of those into a central place for him, like a media folder, and then come in here to the script and put call outs of where he should put them on screen. So basically I'm being a director. That's really what you're doing here. Tell him to roll the intro, right? So if we give a real concrete example here, let's pull this up. And we'll do this. No, stop doing that, Windows. We'll go back to that. So here, I'll give you guys, I mean, it's real.
If you're an enterprise IT or data center engineer, you've had it pretty good for the last decade. Things with virtualization have been great. Many new doors have been opened for advanced learning in things like containers and application development. It's not unlikely that you're able to focus on other more discrete tasks and upgrades as automation has taken hold, or maybe you've got a lot of free time to play Call of Duty over the corporate LAN. But one day your boss walks in and says, I want you to have 60% of our stuff in the cloud by 2022. Huh?
So you get it, right? It makes it so much easier, and it makes the editor's life so much easier. There's less guesswork. He gets to have a little bit of creative license with the transitions and stuff, rather than trying to figure out where certain things should go. If you take that off of their plate and you have a good writing, you have a good recording, your audio and lighting are good, and you give them good notes. This is why I'm disappointed that I spent the better part of a year working with an editor only to find out that he was going to go back to film school. And because we lose all of that shorthand, we lose all of that working together. And it's been fantastic working with him. Hi, Nate, if you happen to be watching. But I loved working with Nate because we developed a kind of flow. Like I'm a little bit of a control freak. I'm a lot of a control freak because I know how to edit, but I wanted to offload the task of doing so to somebody else. So I was able to come in here and still write, still record, still do my own lighting and shooting and all of that stuff. And then I could hand that off and move on to the next video. That's the motion that I want to get into. Somebody can edit, and then I come back and I'm able to do the upload and the staging on YouTube and make the thumbnails. And like, it's even after the edit is locked, like, okay, we're great. No more notes, no more edits. We're good. Still got to go make a thumbnail. Still got to write a description. Still got to come up with a title. Still got to upload it to YouTube. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And then, you know, I look at these creators that are doing like a new video every day or a new video every week, and the amount of stuff that's involved. Like Harris and Sam are putting out videos. They have been for years now, every week, with great thumbnails, great titles, great SEO, and they're just nailing it, right? But yeah, you can see some of the call outs and stuff I was doing here for him. It's pretty impressive to see it all come together. So, anywho, better close that. There might be some stuff in there you guys aren't supposed to see. Let's go shopping. Okay, I got some news on the house as far as networking goes. So come to find out, the house is wired. I had an electrician, a low voltage electrician, go in and basically do an audit of the house. Be like, okay, what's there and what do we need to do? Because ultimately, everything I found that everything was truncating or demarcating in the master bathroom closet. There's a walk-in closet that's off the shower in the master bathroom, and there's a panel in the wall there with all the stuff in it. And that, of all places, of all freaking places in that house, is where they decide, not the laundry room where there's tons of space, where I could have put a little wall mount rack in. Like, of all places, they had to put it in the master bathroom closet. So keep in mind, the painters just finished this week as well. So what we were talking about was how do we pull all the cables out of that run and move them up to a place where I could do a punch down panel on the third floor. The problem with the third floor is that all of the walls are exterior walls. There's no internal stuff. So that you're breaking code, and you're not allowed to have those kinds of runs. So we'd have to use a shared wall of some sort. And he said the beauty of it is there is a crawl space. This is the one shining light. There is a crawl space above the master bedroom between the third floor stairwell and the master bathroom closet. And he said, if I were a betting man, I would bet that all of the runs drop down from that crawl space above the master bedroom down the wall into where that panel is. So he said, theoretically, you could just go in and pull the whole bundle out and redirect it upstairs somehow. And I went, Okay. So that's a possibility. The bad news there is to really, who knows how long the runs are or if they're long enough. Some of them would probably have to be spliced with some Keystone splicers. Fine, not the end of the world. Typically that doesn't really do anything bad anyway. If anything, it might add a microsecond of latency. It's you're not going to notice the difference watching Netflix or anything else that you might be doing. The other thing I was considering is I could just take a Netgear switch. And how many actually came up from the bottom? True. Because it is on the second floor, you're going to have 5 to 10 of those that are coming from the first floor. It's one of those things where I don't want to tell him to go in there and yank everything out and redo everything. One, because we can't, because there's firewalls on each floor. So we'd have to open up the drywall and drill holes, pass-through holes through the firewall, the horizontal piece in the framing. And that's just not an option right now. We just spent thousands and thousands of dollars getting the whole house painted. I'm not opening the walls up. So the solution we came up with short term is that there is at least one run, on the third floor that can be used as a sort of a trunk line, if you will, an uplink line. So I can still have the cable modem upstairs. That's fine, not a big deal. And I can just basically put a little Netgear switch down there in that panel, truncate everything, come across the uplink line, have that one line back that goes up to the third floor, come out of the wall, go up to the master switch stack. Multiple drills through bottom and top plates of walls. Yeah. We'd basically have to rip all the drywall off the walls. And that ain't happening. That ain't happening. The good news is it's pre-wired. The bad news is I don't know why they put... Can I still find that? Hang on one second. Let me pull this off to the side. Yes, they do have it. Okay. Okay. All right. So here is the staircase. Sheppy, I'm glad you're here, because this is what you do. So you come up. This is the second floor plan. Let me see if I can do that. There we go. So you come up the stairs from the first floor, and it does a 90 and 3 more steps, and you've got the long hallway right here. And then you go into the master bedroom. This is at the very back of the house. And then you come through the master bathroom, and then you go into the walk-in closet right here. And on this wall, there's a little panel, like an electrical panel for on-cue for the audio. They also dropped every single coax run in the house in this panel. And I need to figure out how to get it back basically to where this wall is. Because if it was in the laundry room, I could just shoot straight up through the floor. Like, oh my God, that would have been a game changer. But for some reason, they stuck it all the way back here in this back walk-in closet behind the master bathroom. Like, why? Why did they do this? It makes no sense. You had the laundry room centrally located right here in the house. And there's a huge underhang under the stairs right here where you could have put a panel back there. I just don't understand. One day down the road, I will redo this wiring. But today is not that day. It's the other thing that I thought about was if there's coax runs to every room, I have no use for coax anymore. could I just tie an Ethernet pull to the coax and just pull the coax? So there's ideas, right? The good news is there is conduit, there is corrugated conduit, but it looks like it's only 1 inch to maybe 1.25 inch size. I'm not going to be able to pass, a dozen to 15 Cat 5 Ethernet runs, much less Cat 6 that's a little bit thicker. It's not even close. It's as far possibly off center as you could make it. Because the third floor is only this length right here, the main areas. The third floor doesn't go over the top of the master bedroom. So it's basically the third floor is this size. This whole big main section of the house. So if they and the banister, so you can see the staircase right here, the banister would align perfectly as a shared wall that I could shoot up all of the Ethernet runs. Yeah, I mean, here's the other thing, and this might be the reason why they chose to do it this way. Let me know, Shep. Oh, you got a jet. All of the Ethernet runs in the house, while it is Cat 5e, they only pinned out 4 of them for phones. It's not pinned out for Ethernet use. So I have to go in and replace all of the keystones and the wall plates. Not the end of the world. I'm perfectly capable of doing that. But it might be telling as to why they chose to put it way back here. First of all, I don't ever want a technician from the cable company or the phone company or anybody coming into my master bathroom walk-in closet. What were they thinking here? Like, long term, this is going to get changed. Like, I'm not going to be able to handle that. Long term, might have to drill some holes in some drywall, cut out some holes in some drywall, and just patch it back up afterwards. Wouldn't be the end of the world. But I would love to have all of the... So here's the top of the stairwell. This is where the cabinets are going to be. And the power's right there, and the power's right there. But I would love to come up this shared wall from the laundry room and just... I would even drill a hole in the floor, if that's what it took, to have... And put a piece of, like, PVC pipe and have them come up out of the pipe. I don't get it. I don't get why they opted for what they did. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So, we'll see. We'll see. It's one of those things I'm going to wait on until we get there. Oh, F11. There we go. We'll wait on it till we get there. From an electrical standpoint, though, they were very willing to isolate the 2 power circuits onto their own 20 amp breakers. So definitely going to have them do that in advance, so that I can see where to plug all the gear in, and not having to take down the rest of the room, for example, if something happens. All right, so back to this. We're shopping. Oh, one other thing I forgot to tell you guys about. So, as most of you know, throughout the year this year, I've been shutting down the Orbital Jigsaw podcast network. And in August, we turned off the hosting and took the website down. All right. Gave it 6 months. We sent out announcements in January. We said people had through the end of March. And then I wanted to leave it up for another 6 months because it was already paid for. And I wasn't going to renew it when it came up for renewal at the end of August. Little did I know that the email was tied to the hosting. So now I'm also having to set up, because I need that email address back. It's how I communicated with so many businesses. So now I'm having to I guess, turn on. So GoDaddy has a managed Office 365 that they do for people that have domains and stuff. And rather than me trying to go and re-architect it right now when I'm in a hurry and I have negative amounts of free time, yeah, $7 a month. Give me my email address back. The good news is I can throw it right into Outlook and I don't have to deal with like webmail and all of that kludgy cPanel stuff. $7 a month. Okay. And I can have I think 5 addresses in the base tier. Like I said, I don't need any of the collaboration tools. I've got that stuff already. I just need an email address. So one of the things we're going to do today is I actually wanted to go look at what running my own Office 365 subscription would look like. I've been doing some more looking into the rack mount stuff. And the main thing driving me towards a 4U rack mount server is the ability to put in full size, full height graphics cards, and eventually I'm thinking about a Quadro card for rendering and things like that, for transcoding. But that's down the road a ways. But I want to give myself room to grow into something. And that's really what's driving me looking at this one. What I can't find, or what I have trouble doing as a shopper, as a customer, one sec, guys. The thing that I've been having trouble doing as a shopper is I want to, so Rosewill, right? This is the one that, this isn't the exact, this is the one I keep going back to. The 15 bay 8 fans, because I like fans. They don't all have to be running at full tilt all the time. But I like this one because it's got room to grow into it. Where was the, you know, it's got like 7 different expansion bays. It's got a lot of fans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 2, maybe 3 of those will be taken up by a GPU. You got plenty of room back there. And it's passively cooled so that you can, there's no liquid cooling. I mean, it's actively cooled with fans, but I mean, it's blowing hot air out the back. Fine. Awesome. I love that there's space in here, that you're not trying to cram too much stuff in there, and then you get to a certain point, you're like, I need more, and then you got to start completely over. I like having a big place to grow into, right? And this isn't that big of a lift to be able to have this in the rack. I'm already using about 12 U's worth of space for the 2 Synologies and shelves that are in there, right? So having the server isn't going to be that much bigger of a lift to get it in there. What I keep running into, though, as a customer is like, okay, I want to look at all of the things that Rosewill, like maybe I'm not getting the most, like, can we go look at Rosewill as, oh crap. Yeah, worst they can say is no. Okay, I'm trying to haggle and do some stuff over here at the same time. So can we just go to Rosewill's? Does Rosewill have their own? They do. Okay, so we can go look at their stuff. IT products, computer components. Do they have hard drive enclosures? server chassis. Here we go. This is kind of what I was looking for. So when I was looking around on Newegg over the weekend, I noticed there was no way to just go look at all of Rosewill's stuff in a kind of organized fashion. You can filter down to it, yes. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Okay, this R4000U, I think, is the one. Nope, it's the L4500. That's what it is. So this is the one with the 15 bays, 8 fans. Just like has the most room to grow into and to maximize the amount of space. It's the same pictures, it looks like. Let's see what else we got. 7 expansion slots. That's a big deal for me. Lots of fans. That's a big deal for me. Front panel includes 1 USB 3 and 1 USB 2. What happens if you go to buy now? Where do you buy it? Why is it just clicking on the... It's funny. It thinks I'm toggling the pictures. So anyway, I'm back to this one again. What I don't want to miss out on is the special that they've got going on. It's $219 right now. So for $220, I could basically take my Intel motherboard, CPU, memory, M.2 drive, and whenever I get moved and get Mega PC finished, my 2070 Super can go into this thing. I've still got my Radeon 5700 XT that I could put in there for a graphics card for the time being. My hope, or more importantly, what I'm kind of betting on is that it being an Intel CPU, most of it's going to offload to QuickSync, not the GPU. I'm not sure how I can tell Plex and other things to, like with FFmpeg and any other transcoding software, you can choose to offload it to a certain device. Plex kind of just does what it wants. And if it's going to prioritize Intel QuickSync over a GPU that's in there. So my concern is I'm going to all this effort to get a 4U so that I can put a GPU in there when it's frankly not even using the GPU. It's using Intel QuickSync and running the processor at 100% instead when it's doing transcoding operations. So that's some stuff I got to look into. I'm pretty well sold on this chassis. I've done some reading on it. It's a nice chassis. If you rack mount it, it comes out really nice. It's got front and rear ears that come with it, so you can do it in a 22-inch rack. What else? You can buy just the regular shelf rails that mount in a rack, and you can slide it in and out and just use these to secure it. There is a rail kit that comes with it. Ball bearing sliding rail for it. There it is. So you buy this separately, $50, and mount it, right? So again, not the end of the world. There was a Reddit post complaining about having to shut it down just to swap a single disc out. I'm not gonna have discs in there after all. I can't tell you guys what we're gonna have yet, but we're not gonna need discs in there. Now there is something that's in the process that we would use discs for with this. potentially. We'll see. Oh. I would love to just get some of those generic, like, L brackets, angle iron, that you mount up into a rack that just... It's like the old shell... No. The old NetApps used to just sit on those rails. We aren't going to need discs. No, we're not. No, we're not. I'll leave it at that. I can't say anymore. I want it to be a surprise too. But we're not going to need discs. I always need hard drives. Like, that's never not a thing. What is that? Mini SAS Cable Duo Expander. The other thing I was looking into is all of these fans that are in here can be replaced with Noctua. So these are all 120 millimeters, and these are the 80 millimeters, and you can just replace them all with slim Noctua silent operation fans. So again, 620s to 80 millimeters, and it'll be quiet. The other thing that's going to be on it is not quiet, but we'll talk about that another time. The thing that's going to be attaching to this over 10 gig Ethernet is not quiet. But we'll have to figure that out. Let's see. What else do we want to look at today? Might be a relatively short stream today too, guys. There's a lot going on. I'm constantly keeping an eye out for... God, I just want a rack. That would do it. Where is it located? Christiansburg, Virginia. Is that the Roanoke area? Blacksburg. Okay. Not quite Roanoke, but pretty much Roanoke. Huh. Yeah, those are those rails I was talking about, by the way. The ones that things just slide, and they just kind of quick latch into your where your cage nuts usually go. This is the other thing I was considering. But we'll see. Let's just say we're gonna have to figure out what to do with this thing once I get it. We're gonna have something to put it in. Yeah, cage nuts are fine if you know what you're doing, but having the little tool to pop them in and out is mandatory. Trying to do that with your fingers just ends up with the little tails of them going up under your fingernails and cutting open your fingernails and bleeding under a fingernail. Like, I've never done that before. A million times. I used to have holes. I had holes in my calluses on the tips of my fingers from all of that kind of shit. Yeah. Now, my calluses had holes from like untwisting Ethernet cables and working with cage nuts and all of that stuff. Like, just nobody. I ain't trying to go back to that life. What I've been trying to find is one of those blue NetApp cabinets with the thing that goes on the front that lights up blue. And just no matter how many pages and pages of stuff I look at. And no, we don't have any of those in the lab. I've looked. Yeah, there's some of them. Jesus. 1.4 petabytes. Woo! That's a lot of storage. Hey, 3140s. My old haunt. That's what I used to run. We had 6 of these. That's what I ran the healthcare facility on. Those old girls. Those were really good boxes. They supported 10 gig. They supported Fiber Channel. They supported SAS. They were really, really good boxes. Basically, everything that I did on it was all Ethernet. We had one of them, one HA pair that did Fiber Channel for Oracle until I got that moved over to 10 gig as well. But I was able to do like iSCSI to VMs to direct mount LUNs for Exchange and SQL and Dynamics and all of that stuff. And it ran like a beast. These were really good boxes. Let's see. All right, so back to the search for cabinets. I wouldn't even know where to buy one of those, even as an employee. So if we just do like regular server rack, let's just be generic as hell. And I only want to see stuff in the US. Local. Okay. Within 20 miles of what? I guess that's close enough. That's a server cart. Oh, they're just using all the words. Now we're talking. So this could be a solution as well. More than 10 of them are available. So this looks like it was some kind of data center liquidation. I don't see PDUs in there. But that's what I'm talking about. I could get 2 of those for $100. Free pickup from Clifton Park, New York. Ideally, I would love to get these here in the next couple of weeks so that they could go on the moving truck, which they would need to be here by the 28th. But I mean, $50 for an APC 42U rack with no panels or doors. You could probably pick up the panels or doors aftermarket as well. I don't want to go all the way up to Clifton Park. Where is Clifton Park? Oh, it's in Albany. Yeah, that's a bit far. I'm not opposed to a road trip, but that's a bit far. Damn. Seller does not free local pickup. They won't ship them then, apparently. Is that what that means? Damn. Those would be perfect. I'd get 2 of those right now. Was there some... I think there was also some setting. Let's change this to... What is my new zip code? 89135. It's working. It's spinning its wheels. Come on, guys, really? Advanced. Oh, Jesus. Server rack. Shipping. Hey. So at least this way we can look at, like, okay, I could go pick something up when I get there. Also, what if we search for NetApp rack? Same stuff. There's an old DS14. I had racks full of those. Oh, let's go on a road trip. We are not driving to New York 2 weeks before I have to drive across the country. See, here's these rails right here. Just they got the little lip on them, and you just sit the controller on it or the shelf. Like, these are readily available. Like, I'm not too worried about those. Nope. In the zip code. Okay. Can I also check free local pickup? Yeah. Server rack, wall mount, Ethernet patch panel. Huh? Oh. So it's a 19-inch rack. 36 inches tall. This is like my trip light I've got. But it looks really shallow. So it's 19 wide, 36 tall, 8 inches of depth. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's not really what I want. I'm looking for like a 42U or 48U cabinet. Or at least 4-post rack. That could get it done. Good old Ortronics. $215 miles from used server rack, 5 shelves. Cool. Server rack doors, lot of 7. Belkin server cabinet. Oh, it's a drawer. No key. Yeah, so this is what I'm used to these about a $500 price on a cabinet with panels and doors and everything. When I saw that other one for $50 a piece, just for the 4 posts, I'm like, damn. And all of these are like 300 miles away from Vegas. Welcome back, Chevy. I don't know if you left before I said the last bit. So the house is pre-wired. Asterisk. All of the wall plates are 4-wire punch downs for phones. So I basically have to replace all the keystones in the wall plates and punch them down properly. But it is Cat 5e. So not as big of a project. It's a couple hours work to replace 20 to 30 keystones throughout the house. At least now I know. Whoa. Got a VNX? Is that an actual VNX for $400? Oh, that's just the cabinet. Oh, and the blanks. Gotcha. Okay. Nice looking cabinets, though. Wait, what? I can get all that for $400? Look at, you get all the bits and pieces, too? All the blanks? I might go pick that up immediately. Are those PDUs back there? They are. Do you guys see them? Right back there? It's those funky plugs, though, that I hate. We could do some fun stuff too, like taking the blanks outside and setting them on fire or something. I mean, it's the desert; nobody gives a shit. We could take them and bury them out in the middle in a hole in the desert. Holy shit. My only hang up would be if they are legit like VNX cabinets. I doubt I would want to, like, does it have EMC shit on the side of it that I wouldn't want showcased in the studio? Those are really nice looking cabinets, though. Free local pickup from Sacramento. I'm not driving to Sacramento. I thought it came up locally. No. They look like they were for 220. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I don't see anything in my zip code. 10 miles. What is this one? What even is that? Oh, it's just a wall plate for punch down boards. Yeah, no. Listen, that's Detroit. That's Detroit. Ford has said they're declared that they're going to have an entire electric fleet by 2025. GM has said they're going to have an entire electric fleet by 2030, if not sooner. Tesla, basically, I guess Elon moved out of California, went to Texas. So it's not just California. I'll say this. I mean, the infrastructure bill looks like it's going to get passed. I believe there's provisions in there to make electric charging stations more prolific and more profound, so that there's some kind of rule in there where they're gonna start allowing filling stations to have chargers, and in some ways promote that and give rebates and stuff like that. So if you run a Shell station right now and you've got like 8 pumps, they're gonna want you to have like 3 to 5 supercharging stations or whatever, and an area to put those. Right? And you'll get like tax credits and bonuses and rebates and stuff like that for putting it all in. Like, some of that is happening. I think it's going to take that and more to get the populace to accept electric cars. Everything has to go electric for landscapers. Well, for professional landscapers, I understand more than anyone how realistic that is, because I've had electric lawn equipment for 2 years now. And the big batteries are expensive. They don't hold charge for as long as you think. And for me, with my one mower, string trimmer, and leaf blower, I've barely got enough juice to do my yard. I can't imagine the arsenal of batteries a professional landscaping business would have to keep on hand and charged constantly, and the logistics of all of that, as opposed to just getting a 5-gallon can of gas. Like, I don't know. It's that it seems a little strange for right now. Hybrid electric mowers, that I've been using the big Cobalt push mower, 80 volt. Yeah, the equipment. That's not the equipment that bothers me, Sheppy. It's the batteries. The demand on batteries. So, I mean, are we going to have like work trucks, utility trucks driving around with giant capacitors for recharges on the back of them? Like, how's that going to work? Like, I know we've got those for, you can put a capacitor in your house in the garage that solar can charge, and you can run shit in the house. Instead of running it off the mains, you run it off the capacitor. That's the size of a hot water heater. Which sounds crazy to say. A capacitor that's the size of a hot water heater, but that's real. How do you control the output of a discharge capacitor? Like, I think everything that we know about electrical in building code and electrical code is going to change in the next 20 years. I think everything's getting ready to change. We're at one of those tipping points, one of those epoch shifts where we're going to have to rethink how we think about electricity, how we store it as a resource and not just generate it constantly. It's electricity has always been about generation, not so much about storage. And I think we know how to generate electricity. We can burn fossil fuels. We can use wind. We can use water and dam power. We can use solar. We know how to generate and convert energy into electricity. We've pretty much mastered that art. Storing it, however, and delivering it, I think is going to go through a whole other kind of transformation. Transform. It's going to transform. Wave power is interesting. If you haven't looked up wave power, and my electrical chops are a little bit rusty, but I mean I did mechanical engineering and electrical, And 30 years ago, but wave power looks interesting. You need dinosaurs again so we can make more dino juice. Man, they're still digging shit up in New Mexico that, like, they found the fossil from like 30,000 years ago of a human foot. I don't even know how to process that. As long as we can get flying cars in your lifetime, you're okay with going all electric? How about make solar power more affordable for homes? That is going to require some different thinking about utilities companies. Here's why more people don't have solar. One, yes, it is a prohibitively expensive upfront cost. I'll grant you that. But me as a homeowner, I cannot tell the power company to piss off and disconnect from my house. It is required that I be connected to the grid. What does that mean? Well, what if I don't want it? What if I only want to generate all of my own power? Oh, well, you know, you can't live in a place that's an actual subdivision with an HOA and there's rules and who made up those rules? Why do I have to pay a bill to a company for a utility that I'm not even going to use? You can sell excess power back to for pennies on the dollar. I want to be able to listen, guys. I'm moving to Las freaking Vegas. There is an abundance of sunshine, and I've got one of those big old tile roofs that all the desert homes have that are perfect for sitting some big solar panels on. Bet your sweet ass in the next 5 years I'm going to be doing solar with a big capacitor in the garage and rethinking how we do electric. Thank you, Drew. You beat me to it. We're going to have to like I said, we've mastered generating electricity through various means. We have not mastered delivering and storing electricity. And I think we're going to go through a whole new evolutionary step beyond lithium, where we're storing electrical energy and delivering it ourselves. We've got to rethink, because basically when you get to that point, every house is effectively a substation. So how do we rethink that? Well, okay. So we're basically controlling our own meters, and we need to generate X amount of capacity to run this house using these appliances with this kind of utilization, right? And there's going to come in seasonal waves where you've got the dips in spring and fall, but winter you're doing a lot of heating and summer you're doing a lot of cooling. And it's going to be regional because we've got to rethink something that is more universal. And you've basically got to turn a house into a substation. Substations are getting fed from mains from the power generation companies, and they're storing a lot and routing and delivering a lot of that electricity. That sounds familiar. What if your house is now a substation and you're generating all your electricity from the roof, or subletting it from main from the power company and filling up a place to store it so that it can be delivered? I don't know. And Drew, you make a good point. Not all power companies, Texas, excuse me, not all power companies are up to speed on the same page about this, nor do they give you rebates. It's not mandated that what are they going to do? Put themselves out of business by giving you all these rebates for solar? It's not in their best interest that we start using solar. Money's got to get out of the way. And you could tie this back to, it's the same conversation we had about healthcare 10 years ago with Obamacare. So we're going to do universal healthcare, but we're not going to get the insurance companies out of the way? That's never going to work. And look what we've got. Healthcare is more expensive than ever. All we've got is more different plans. And they're making record profits. So I look at power delivery the same kind of way. Like, sure, you can you drop $15,000 to $25,000 getting solar panels installed and getting meters put on the side and all the special wiring and the capacitors and yeah, you can go do that. There's no guarantee that one, you're going to live in that house long term. So you have to judge that on a capital investment perspective. Does it really increase the value of your house? Is it a lease program? Are you getting rebates through the power company? All of these are factors, and it really needs to become more of a conversation around building code and an option that builders can do as part of building homes. No houses, period, hard stop, ever in 2021 and beyond should be built without Ethernet being pre-wired. Hard stop. No houses should not be pre-wired with Ethernet. It's still happening. Houses get built without Ethernet. Yeah, look at companies like Generac that will put generators on the side of your house. There's one. And, you know, they're about $5,000, but you can run your whole house on it for a period of time, and it can generate power, and you can tie it in. My next door neighbor has solar panels and a Generac. They could literally unplug from the power company, but they can't. I've run entire data centers off of 2 giant Cat diesels before for 2 weeks. You just keep putting diesel in the thing and it keeps running. You know, it doesn't, there are so many different ways to generate power. This kind of addiction that we've got to utilities companies, there's obviously a reason they don't want these things to move forward, and it's all money. So I don't understand why I, as a home buyer, if you go into one of these new subdivisions, why are solar panels and Generacs not like one of the check boxes you can do as add-ons? Why is this all aftermarket stuff that the homeowner has to figure out? I mean, one, it's an ecosystem partnership you do with builders, right? If KB and who are some of the other ones that are out there? Like if KB Homes wants to do a deal with Generac so that they can offer Generac installation with every home that they build in this subdivision, that they're this new project that they've got. Oh, we'll throw in a solar panel installation. Yes. That's the kind, and you can work it all into the financing of the house. Like, why is that not being done? Why can I go to a car dealership and buy a Corvette that's convertible, has air conditioning, power steering, and all of these other options, but I can't come buy a house that's got solar panels, a Generac, and like all of these things? That's what I'm talking about when the shift that we've got to make from just generating and consuming power to storing and delivering power. That's why houses need to become substations. Because the house, at a certain point, has to become the arbiter of whether or not I'm going to use power from the street or whether I'm going to use power that I generated myself. And that can't be driven by the greed of a corporation dictating that a house has to be wired up to the grid. Like, whoever made up that rule probably had the best interests at heart, but we don't have the my whole point goes back to the thing I was saying at the beginning. We're for electric to become the thing that it needs to be for us to move forward, we're going to have to rethink electricity. Full tilt. We're going to have to start at the beginning. Hey, what's up, Jason? Maybe over there it's not so much the case here. All new homes here must come with some form of power generation equipment. They are also banning gas boilers and stoves in the next decade. Damn. Yeah, that feels like that might be That might be a little bit on Russia for you guys over in the UK. Kind of developed a monopoly on natural gas. I also think we're going to be moving on from natural gas at some point as well. We're going to recognize that generating our own electricity becomes much more cost effective than trying to do gas, because gas is certainly cheaper. It's nice as the end user consumer to get a $12 bill instead of a $200 bill. But at the same time, like, what's it costing society in the long run? All of the fracking and all of that stuff that's going on. And get them to meet schedules in order to get the neighborhoods up and running. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the first part. Electric companies do not like working with residential builders. They're notoriously pains in the butt to even get them nailed down on whose equipment a new neighborhood even falls under. Again, all of this is going to have to be rethought, because right now it's probably driven by city and county lines. Who has territory? Who, like, how do you decide? Like, I don't want you to be the deciding factor. If somebody wants to subscribe to, you know what I want? I want Google Fiber. Why can't I get it? Because somebody somewhere in an ivory tower decided that we're going to make a deal with Cox Cable and CenturyLink, two of the worst services of all time, and we're going to lock down this little area to only be able to subscribe to them because they probably gave us a deal under the table. Somebody somewhere decided that, and it affects every customer. Now, why are we doing that with everything now? I can't have Google. Why do I, the consumer, not get to be the one that decides which service I want to use? Sheppy. Why are they arguing about it for me? Maybe I don't want either one of them. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's really the big deal. You can go off-grid in the UK in terms of you can use your own generated power from a stored battery, but you have to have a connection to the grid. It's not because you have to pay, it's because you have to have an outlet. There has to be somewhere for excess power to go. Houses and residential equipment just aren't designed and aren't built for the potential issues. I agree. And I think this Ford and GM and Hyundai, Tesla, everybody can come out with as many electric cars as they want to. Until the gas stations and the fueling and petrol stations come up with ways for me to just as easily drive my car in like I would for a fill-up. Instead, I'm plugging in a charger that'll take 15 minutes to fully charge my car, and then I can just drive off. Until that's solved, like, none of this matters. Because the amount of power that we're going to need to generate to power homes 24 hours a day is a lot more than what 3 solar panels on your roof can do. It's just going to take more than that. It's going to be we went through the Prius decade, right? We had 10 plus years of Priuses, hybrids, while they were figuring out full electric. And they've kind of figured out full electric. Problem is, it's another finite resource called lithium. So we haven't quite tackled that one just yet. For storing electricity. So Tesla over here, Jason, Tesla is standing up their own supercharging stations around the country. They're few and far between, but realistically, going 2 or 3 of the routes that are available, you can drive across the entire United States in a Tesla, but it takes like 30 minutes to charge it from 0 to full. So it's going to be one of those things. We've just got to get the convenience nailed down. We've got to get past that before we can really start taking advantage of this. And it's going to be some kind of hybrid. I just don't know. The only choice in utilities we get is natural gas. We can choose which natural gas provider we want to use, but not electric, not phone, not cable. Yeah, we have one. Well, I mean, we live in a neighborhood. I think there's 200 houses in here. It's a big neighborhood. And we were told which power we could get. The beauty of it is we have Spectrum, but we also have AT&T for UVerse and internet. And I believe you can even get DirecTV or Dish here as well. Like, there's not, it's a pretty non-stringent kind of neighborhood to move into, but the availability of the services aren't dictated by the city or the zoning commission. Somebody that made a back alley shady deal to limit what was available in the area. I guarantee you Google Fiber would be much more successful and much more widespread if they didn't have to deal with all the little backwoods municipality political bullshit of people taking handouts. Google Fiber, AT&T. There's new fiber startups out of Utah that are wanting to expand down into Vegas and Nevada, and they can't. Why not? Yeah, a lot of places don't have that, including a very profound area of Las Vegas that I'm moving into. I'm not kidding. I have to show you guys this to get you to believe it. At the risk of doxing myself here. This is going to blow your mind. (10 megabit per second). 500K upload. K!
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
What's up, King? Welcome aboard. Oh, I gotta fix that. That thing's broken. 10 megabit per second. And they want $50 a month. This DSL horse shit and Cox Cable is, I have to have a premium modem. Premium. I called them up and I was just like, are you out of your damn mind? Support for small business? What kind of business are you gonna run on 10 megabit per second internet? Three nines of availability. Jesus Christ. That's what was available. Why 10 minutes away is Google Fiber. 10 minutes up the street. So I haven't even told Esther this yet. Like, I'm getting involved. I want to figure out how you get involved with the local politics to figure out where those rules are written. Why can't Google Fiber come into our neighborhood? The infrastructure's there. All they would have to do is pull the fiber, wire it up to the house. It's all there. The little doors are in the sidewalks. It's there. They could build the circuits. I don't know. AT&T, where you at? Nowhere in Las Vegas, that's for sure. Verizon, where's Fios? Oh, it's in Arizona. Or it's in other parts of Nevada. You go to the Las Vegas Strip, Google Fiber everywhere. Google Fiber, Las Vegas. Does Las Vegas have Google Fiber? That's not true. 34 cities that aren't Las Vegas. That's an interesting title. Damn, fruit fly. Whatever happened to Google Fiber? Do they have a coverage map? Let's see. In 2016, before Google Fiber could develop a significant footprint in new markets, the company abruptly announced an immediate pause on all fiber optic projects, likely due to high costs. And though it appears the hiatus is over, there is no indication of intent to significantly expand coverage in current Google Fiber markets. It's working to bring Google Fiber to more communities in Charlotte, but makes no mention of where or when it happens. Yeah, I've tried calling Google Fiber, and they say if the website doesn't bring it up as available, we can't do anything else about it. And like, you try to call them and you try to talk to them about it. You're like, can you give me any more information? No. And they won't talk about it. It doesn't make any sense. Let's check Fios. Verizon Fios Las Vegas. High-speed internet in Las Vegas. I check availability. Not an apartment. Continue. Verizon home internet services aren't currently available in your new ad. What I'm trying to see is, where is it available? Short of putting in a street address, there should be some sort of coverage map that shows me. Some people tried to offer me T-Mobile, tried to give me LTE home internet. I'm like, guys, I don't live out in the boondocks. I'm in the outside of the strip. I'm in one of the most heavily populated areas of Las Vegas. How is the best you can do CenturyLink 10 megabit per second? It's infuriating. And there's absolutely nothing I can do about it as a consumer. That's the infuriating part. I could have paid, let's see, Cox wanted to charge me $21,000 to build a circuit, and then it was going to be $760 something a month for gigabit up and down. I did look in the sidewalk vault boxes. Yes, I did. The conduit is there. It's there. Literally, it would take somebody going, engage, make it so, and probably 6 months later we'd have fiber. It's there. It's absolutely frustrating that I have to go back to cable internet. It's one of those things. It's one of those things that it's the least. It's one of the things that it's the thing that I'm the least excited about moving. Because I've been spoiled. Being able to share Plex with a lot of you, being able to live stream without any caps. Like, all of a sudden I'm going to have a 35 megabit per second upload cap again. Okay, well shit, I'm not going to need 30, but if you get 5 or 6 people watching stuff and then try to live stream, shit, you're at 35 before you know it. If you get one person watching a high enough resolution film, that's 10 to 25, anywhere in there. So it severely hinders the things that I actually want to do. Alrighty, back to cabinet searching. No. There's literally nothing. There's 2 results in Las Vegas. Right now, Drew, I don't have any more 4K. I got rid of all of it. So you're streaming something else. No. You know what I didn't check yet? Amazon. What's on Amazon? What can I get free Prime shipping on? 4-post. That's not terrible. 42U. It's got caster wheels on it. That's huge. I don't know what latency you're referring to, Drew. That's not terrible. So here's a question for you guys. The alternative, well, I mean, the alternative that I'm preparing myself for mentally is that I'm going to put all this stuff on the third floor and it's just too loud. And it's too much. Yeah, because I turned it on to low latency for this one. I fixed all that. So it should only be about 5 seconds. I'm preparing myself mentally for all of this shit to be too loud and I have to put it in the garage. Ultimately, that means I would have to have some kind of cooling solution in the garage as well. It's Vegas. It's going to be hot as shit. Too tall to fit through an 80-inch doorway with casters. Okay. Seems to be getting some good reviews. So, I mean, there's an option. $350. Buy a couple of those, put them together, you know. The other alternative that I was thinking of was, could I get half racks, like a 27U, but I mean, even that is $900. I didn't see if it was Prime or not. It is Prime. Wow, free shipping, returns. Couldn't you build a small closet for everything? Yeah, but that would just take up too much room, man. The real estate up there is precious for other things. That's a good question, Jason. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, you know what's right around the corner? I call Missy. Be like, hey, I need a cabinet. Part of doing this in the house was to serve as backdrop for some videos, right? Stuff that we could work on streams. I could set a camera up and we can go and work on and build and rack and cable and do all of that stuff, right? At a certain point, we get to a finished state with that. But the part about going to a colo, they're not going to let me live stream from a colo facility. Most of those are normally Faraday cages with no phone access anyway. The core. Look at those things. Jesus. Oh, I want to watch this. I haven't seen this in a while. This will blow your minds. Oh, power. Oh, power. Mm-mm. Look at all that storage. Ah! That is all hard drives. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of power. That's what Nick used to do for a living. Not that advanced. Like, we didn't have big fancy shit like that. But I mean, that's what Nick used to do. I'd pull trunk lines for power runs to gang boxes under the floor, raised floors. There you go. Wiring those transformers up to the Jennies and the mains in the street. Like, that's what I used to do a long time ago. Oh. It's something Switch should also be applauded for vigorously. They are fully on 100% renewable. They're already there. Most people have we're going to be there by 2040. They've been there for years. Yeah, this is next level. Yeah. So it's a good question, Jason. I've got those guys in my backyard. Probably the only one of note in the area. I mean, if you're gonna colo anywhere, it's gonna be at Switch in Vegas or Austin or Atlanta. LA is Quest still around? Q. Did they get bought? Was it CenturyLink? CenturyLink. No shit. So, Quest, CenturyLink, Burbank. I wonder if they're still there. There's a website called datacenters.com. I never knew about that. What's on data center? Oh, no, go away. Huh. All right. That's pretty cool. Yep. I don't know, Jason, to answer your question. It's a great question. But the point of it isn't to have the bandwidth. The point of it is to have the local storage capacity. And where it started getting cost prohibitive with the Synologies, I've now got a solution that's coming in, but it could potentially make a lot of noise. I'm not sure how much of that I can stymie or how much I can fend off. We'll see. It's not going to be running at full tilt 24 hours a day. I just don't know what the lowest threshold of noise is. There are these soundproof cabinets that I could look into. But from what I've heard, they're expensive AF. Yeah. Oh, that's not one. Yeah, that's ridiculous. $9,000. What was that? 42U. So do you have to plumb in cooling? Is that what it does? I mean, it's great that it's soundproof, but I'm guessing that you're adding your own airflow and fan cooling to it. It's just, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If it's too loud, it's too loud, and we go a different path. I keep coming back to this because I still think it's a better alternative to the Synologies. I would almost rather take my drives that I have in my Synologies, put them in this, run Unraid on it with containers, and call it a day. And it would be an all-inclusive, all-in-one NAS with local compute services and transcoding services all in for you. It eliminates the Synologies. It eliminates the need for bandwidth, 10 gig and that kind of stuff. Like, this could be an all-in-one solution rather than having two Synologies and 10 gig switch and all of that stuff. This could be an all-in-one. That's why I keep coming back to this, because I'm just hung up on it. 15 bays is one drive less than I have right now. I'm really only using 8 of those. The second Synology with 2 terabyte drives in it is powered off because I moved everything off of it. I'm only using the newer one with 10 gig on it right now. And that's got 8 drives. So if I could take all of those drives and put them into one chassis and just use Unraid. Oh, and by the way, it can also run the containers for all of the Rs and Plex and other. It's an all-in-one solution in 4U that eliminates a lot of shelf space. So I don't know. And I definitely wouldn't want to have that in a co-location facility. So you ask where the break point is, Jason? I don't know, because it's more than a price. It's more than a dollar value. If it becomes if the amount of upload bandwidth that I have or lack thereof becomes an issue, that's probably when I would start looking at a colo facility to get more bandwidth. Because I don't have another option. It's cable. That's it. Until something changes and they allow fiber to come in, that's what I'm stuck with. Now, there are those solutions out there where you can bundle 2 together, and I guess I could effectively double the 35 up to 70 megabit per second. That's still not 1,000. What am I going to do? Buy 10 of those? I don't know. Those kinds of solutions I haven't even looked into yet. Those where you bundle together multiple lines. But then I'd be paying for multiple internet runs. Dual WAN routers. Yeah, okay. So I don't know. It's going to be really hard after spending 2 years with AT&T Gigapower. It's going to be hard to go back to a cable modem setup. But it is. That's just the way it's got to be. It's going to suck. It's not going to be as reliable. Give VMware some money and get a Velo Cloud box? No. No. I don't know if I don't think I'll be giving VMware any more of my money. Because most of the stuff I can do container based now. Why do I need VMware? But my Tanzu! No, you don't. No. You just run it in one of the cloud providers. But I want it in my vCenters. I understand. It's unnecessary. It's different considerations there for sure. Our power is just prohibitively expensive. Our house only uses about 80 kilowatt hours. Jason, my house is less than an hour away from the Hoover Dam. It's not, power isn't the issue. I'm in one of the hubs of power generation in the world. Power is certainly not the issue. It's heat, noise, and bandwidth. Yeah. Heat isn't even really an issue because I've got a dedicated HVAC unit on that third floor. Worst case, I could run some ducting to one of the many vent windows that are there and exhaust the heat through the ducting. The water level's getting low. Yeah, I hear you, man. Does Vegas have nuke? No operating reactors or fulls are located in Nevada. Is an agreement state. Huh, okay. I could have swore there was one. Oh well. Yeah, electricity I'm not worried about. The system that I'm bringing in at peak draws 3.3 amps and its accompanying shelf draws I think 1.5 or 1.6 amps at peak load. I will not be running it at peak load. I honestly, without getting Sense or something like that, which I may end up doing in the house, I can't. That's one of my favorite parts about like the owning my own home now is that I get to do all that smart home shit and not have to worry about undoing it when I move out, right? I'm so excited to be able to go in and actually start using HomeKit and SmartThings and some of this other stuff to monitor power usage and all of that stuff instead of just depending on the power company to tell me what I used. I can go, no, this is what I used. Why does your bill say something different? Like I'm looking forward to and being able to tell the Amazon Echo to turn the lights off or to be able to use HomeKit on my iPhone and you know, have some gestures with Siri, you know, just stuff like that. I've never gotten to do that because I haven't owned my own house. Right? I've always resisted doing it because I didn't want to spend a lot of time wiring or setting up, buying special things that may not work in other places because it wasn't mine and I might not live there in a year or 2 years. So I've resisted doing it. I've held back from doing it. But guys, I want you to know the next 2 to 3 months here on the stream and on the channel are going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to share as much of that with you guys as I possibly can. I want to shop for a lot of that stuff. I want to work on building a lot of that stuff live as much as I can, or make videos about that kind of stuff. That's really one of my big things that I'm really excited about for the next few months. Documenting the move. The teardown of this studio it could warrant its own video, frankly. Much less the stand-up of the new one. Especially once we get there, we unload the car, and the movers get there, and they unload everything, and it's all there in a pile in the middle of the floor in the studio. And I have to begin, and I have to put it all together. Teardown time-lapse, that's not anywhere near as exciting. It's going to be me putting microphones and cameras and lights back into original boxes and making organized piles for the packers to come in and pack all the stuff up and sorting. I've got about 8 of those like large wheelie totes with lids that secure. A lot of the stuff in here goes into those totes and they just throw the totes on the truck. Okay, if you guys want to tear down time, the problem is it's not all going to be done at once. So it might be in different settings, but I'll see what I can do. The teardown of Data Center Dude's data center over there is not going to be fun. Because I'm going to have to push wires back through the wall. Patch drywall, paint. You guys don't remember I cut holes in the wall, right? Do you remember that? To pull the cables through from the laundry room. Yeah, that was fun. And then I stabbed a couple of different places to see if I could find where the right hole was. Just prop an iPad in the corner and let it go on time-lapse mode. All right. It's going to be probably 2 or 3 different angles, though, because I've got the desk here, and then behind the desk, I've got like several piles of shit. Pelican cases and PC parts are everywhere over there. Organized piles, mind you. There's empty boxes in here. There's the workbench. And we got to take the whole pegboard system down that we put up last summer. The shelving. I got to pull the shelving down. Probably get more of that shelving for the new place. Cool thing about that shelving is that it interlocks. So if you get another system next to it, you can kind of clip it together and it all acts as one thing. So I'm looking forward to getting another set of that shelving, and it'll just be out in the open. The big thing for me though with the new place is where'd this go? The big thing for me is getting everything in that room and kind of Tetrising it, seeing how it's all going to fit in there. No? Just you, Drew. Live streaming over cable again is going to be fun. We'll see. Right now I'm pushing 10 megabit per second to YouTube. Twitch has a maximum of 6 megabit per second. So I'm going to have a theoretical max of 35 megabit per second available upload speed with cable. I'll be testing the limits of that, especially with Plex. We'll be testing the upper limitations of that for sure. Because I don't turn, like, is anybody watching anything right now? No, thankfully. But I guess it wouldn't really matter. I use that as I use Tetris as a verb all the time. Esther uses it, says I'm really good at Tetrising things into the trunk. All right. It's kind of an art form, packing a trunk. Anywho, lots to do, guys. This was fun. We're going to have a lot of these. Don't forget, a week from Wednesday is Insight. We're going to have some activities going on in the Discord. All you guys are in there, I believe. But for anybody watching this later, make sure you go to discord.gg/NetApp. You want to get in there. We're going to be doing some fun stuff in the NetApp Discord for Insight. What else? All of my content's done for the show. I've got a couple more videos that I'm trying to get done and staged for the 2 weeks that we're going to be moving and unpacking in the new place. To kind of tied things over here on the channel while I'm trying to get everything set back up. But the teardown begins. Oh. The teardown begins a week from Saturday. The 23rd. So just under 2 weeks. I may get a head start. I've got to shoot a couple of videos. Hopefully knocking those out this week. If I can get that done, I can start doing chunks of it here and there and start getting all of this stuff organized. All of the furniture in the loft/man cave, the power recliners, sold and gone. All of our second bedroom set stuff that's 10 years old, sold and gone. Excuse me. All of my lawn care equipment, sold and gone. Like we've liquidated so much stuff. And it's good to have the space to be able to do organized piles for the Packers. I gotta get a TV guy out here, my TV guy that has mounted all my TVs for me, to help me get the 86-inch off the wall. And hopefully he has a 86-inch Samsung box from one of his other jobs. So I gotta call him today. Anyway. I'll see you on Wednesday, guys. I'm gonna keep thinking about this Roseville thing. And I'm still waiting to hear back from potential partner on the whole situation. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday, and we'll do some more of this. It's going to be a fun few weeks while we get moved, but it's mostly going to be casual chat streams like this because there's not a lot to work on right now. I don't want to pull the trigger on a lot of big buying stuff until we get there and I figure out what kind of cabinets I'm going to have. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. We'll see you guys Wednesday. Everybody have a fantastic week. Insights next week. I'm ready. You ready? Peace.